Oh God.
I don't know what my only crime was being happy. That's all I did.
I hate you.
Holy shit, Danny.
Hello, and welcome to the JIMPACT Zone, where I just finished watching Ring of Honor. And Impact is always
Well, hi everybody. Welcome to the JIMPACT Zone. It appears James is having a couple of Wi-Fi issues, which makes things really awkward because I was just kind of here to produce and let James bounce off of me because I didn't really watch the show. So, James, you can hear me. You got to fix your stuff, and I'm gonna have to fill. Anyway, I hope everybody caught the Ring of Honor show James just did. James is pulling a double tonight, which is amazing and awesome. He obviously Ring of Honor started tonight, and apparently, from what he was telling us, they don't technically have an end to the show. So we are working things out here in terms of a schedule. I don't know how James is going to do 2 shows in one night every Thursday after doing 2 shows in one night every Wednesday, because that's when we usually record our weekly episode after our live after Dynamite. So that's going to get interesting. But hopefully James is back now. Let us find out. James, are you back?
because this is just how things go, guys. I just spent 4.5 hours watching wrestling for everybody, and I can't get one screen to work in my own home. But I love you guys for sticking around. I love you guys for watching. Here we go. Nick already introduced himself. You know me. I'm James Gisante, where I cover all things Impact Wrestling. So the show started. You got to know this was the follow-up show to last week's pay-per-view, to No Surrender.
How'd that go, by the way?
It was a stacked show, a lot of fun matchups, a lot of not a lot of title changes, but a lot of planting the seeds for what's to come next. And one of those matches had Bullet Club taking on the Motor City Machine Guns with a little bit of extra flair, as the Machine Guns were backed by Kushida, and the Bullet Club had Japan amazing kicking, eardrum-breaking guy, Kenta. Bullet Club wins that match, and they come out tonight to talk about how they are the current best tag team in Impact Wrestling.
It appears
Yes.
No Surrender was pretty good if JD likes it.
JD is an angel and a friend and an amazing person who I appreciate. But yeah, Bullet Club opened the show tonight, cutting a promo, talking about the fact that the Motor City Machine Guns are the best tag team in Impact Wrestling. Or, they were. They were the best. They were great. They were amazing. When Chris Bay made his debut in Impact years ago, when Chris Bay started his career in this very building they were in today, 10 years ago. They were great then, but now Bullet Club is the best tag team in wrestling currently. Well, of course, this is going to bring out the Motor City Machine Guns themselves, and as opposed to waiting for their title match, why not have it tonight? Bullet Club is smart and popular. This is a very concerning thing. Now, Nick, I know you're not as familiar with tonight's show, but you do know Bullet Club, you do know Chris Bay, you do know Ace Austin, and you do know the Motor City Machine Guns. The Machine Guns, popular living legend tag team, confronted by Bullet Club, who were getting quite a lot of cheers. You've seen these young kids before. Do you think this heel run is going to last? Or do you think a babyface run is probably in their future with how over they are?
Bullet Club is weird because in Japan, they're always booked as heels because it's mosely a Gaijin faction, obviously being started by Prince Devitt and and all those guys. But when they come stateside, they're cheered because I mean they're basically, you know, the millennial version of the New World Order. Everybody loves them, even though they do bad guy things. And I think that's been the case probably since it started, and it definitely became a serious thing when the Bucks and Kenny were in charge back when in the Elite days. But it's weird. You could almost book them face in America and heel in Japan, and I don't think anybody would care. That's almost kind of what they did with the Bucks and Kenny and Adam Cole and Cody and Hangman when they were all still in Bullet Club. But at the same time, like, they're supposed to be heels. And I think what you do is you kind of keep booking them as heels. What up, Nas? You keep booking them as heels, I think, because even if they do heelish things, I feel like they're still going to get cheered, even against Motor City Machine Guns, which is insane because those guys are, you know, white meat baby faces at the moment, as far as I know. So the Bullet Club is always going to have a very interesting dynamic like that, but it's kind of fun to watch and see.
First of all, I think that was well put. I would like to address the comments. The Elite being baby faces was never a problem. It made sense. It still makes sense. They did nothing wrong. Thank you, JD. Thank you, Nick, for putting that up.
Yep.
The Elite did nothing wrong. CM Punk not only ruined the backstage environment of AEW, I'm going to make a bold claim and say he ruined Japan as well. All of Japan, not just New Japan Pro Wrestling, the country itself.
But I wasn't talking about the Elite now. You want to have that argument now, fine, I understand. But back then, when being the Elite was just getting rolling, episode 40, 50, 60, there was a certain villain there. In America, those guys were so over because people loved them. But in Japan, they were still asshole forward heels. So
no, I agree.
It's still the same thing now, even though Kenta, obviously in Japan, not a foreign guy. But in America, everybody fucking loves Kenta. So even if he comes out and murders your top face, he's going to get cheered just because Kenta showed up.
No, I agree. I agree. And I think it does speak to these two young guys and Ace Austin. All right, Tama Tonga's not even in Bullet Club now, so who cares what he disagreed with.
Still breaks my heart, but...
But Ace Austin and Chris Bay are two very exciting, popular young talents. I'm glad... Awesome. They're incredible. Ace is awesome. Bay is someone I'm really, really getting behind. I could see him being a franchise player wherever he goes. But I'm really excited, and I'm really excited about their future, and I'm really happy about the reception they're getting. But that sets us up for our main event later tonight. But moving on next, we had a backstage interview where Shane Haste, formerly known as Slapnuts. No, that's not right. Shane Thorne. What was it? Slapjack? Was it Slapjack?
It was Slapjack. Slapnuts or Jeff Jackson.
I know that, but I wasn't sure if it was Slapjack.
I think it was.
Who was part of
61, right?
Yes, but
Fun fact, that was Will-O-Wisp in one of the Pokemon games.
That's why they named it that. That's why they named it that.
I looked that up one day. I think it was like one of the first times they debuted in NXT. I was like, why are they TM61? And I was like, what was TM61 in Pokemon? And I think in Gen 4 or 5, it was Will-O-Wisp. It's changed since then, but...
Well, now he's part of TMDK. Great name. I liked it.
Mighty Don't Kneel. That's a fantastic name.
Nas, I totally agree. No difference.
He was a slap nuts. That whole fucking crew was, but it wasn't their fault.
Every member of that group has gone on to not only hate that group, but they were able to bounce back. And I'm happy to see Shane is finally doing that. He cuts a backstage promo where he hypes up his match against Speedball Mike Bailey. And then... See, guys, that's how tired I am. I have my Ring of Honor notes. I was very confused why I would have been talking about Willow Nightingale. But they set up...
to see her in that Impact Women's division, though.
Ring of Honor is where she belongs right now. She's going against she's going against Athena next week for the title.
That's a good matchup. I saw that matchup at Rampage.
There you go.
Night before the pay-per-view that was here. I forget which one. Full Gear.
Jade might be able to beat Willow 3 or 4 times, but I don't think Athena can or will. But anyway, back to Impact. We have another backstage interview where Gia Miller interviews Rich Swann. Rich is upset about how he lost against Josh Alexander in the title match, and I don't know that a heel turn is coming, but we might see a more serious attitude from Rich, and I think it's about time. We've talked about it in the past, ever since he lost the title to Kenny at, 2 years ago now, if not longer, maybe 3. He has been floundering. He doesn't have the same shine on him that he did when he got to Impact, and I'm happy to see him, even in a loss, moving in a positive direction. He's interrupted, and you know what? He felt like an afterthought. And we'll see if that leads to a match later on. It definitely didn't lead to an altercation now. We finally get to our first match of the night after a lot of talking, and we have Speedball taking on Shane Haste. This was a fun back and forth match. It was a long match, and it was high flying. I haven't seen a lot of Shane, like I said, since he's left WWE, since he's left NXT. His run in NXT is definitely where we're going to know him as part of his tag team. When he was on the main roster, he didn't really accomplish much, unfortunately, because he was masked and part of a group that just essentially became jobbers. Eric, if you were here, you could do the memes for us, buddy.
I was gonna put in the chat, sorry, our producer boy is not here.
But to go off Nas, Rich Swann still being here. Yeah, no, dude, he's great. He's found new life and Impact, and I'm hoping he gets a second shot at the title down the line. Maybe he could take it off the guy who dethrones Josh Alexander. And
I think we talked about it last week, or not last week, but last time I was on with Rich Swann, where it amazes me, even though you were saying he's been floundering a bit recently, it amazes me the second life he has found in Impact after he left 205 Live.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not surprised he's still around. Excuse me. The guy's got talent. Like, he should definitely still be around. I understand sometimes, booking things happen and you end up floundering, like you said, but the guy deserves to be near the top of a card somewhere, and I think near the top of the Impact card is the perfect spot for him.
I completely agree. Impact is the place people go to rehab their careers, and this is exactly what we're seeing with Rich Swann
and McIntyre, Lashley.
And I think we could agree. Basically, everyone in 205 were amazing talent. They were great wrestlers, entertaining guys. It's just now we're at a point where they're only known as 205 guys, unfortunately. But I'm happy to see Rich breaking the mold and showing that he's so much more than just a flippy cruiserweight for WWE. But moving back on to the match between Shane Haste and Speedball Mike Bailey. Like I said, this was a nice showing for Shane Haste. For people who aren't as familiar with him back here on American television, because he's been working New Japan for a while as part of TMDK. I was pleasantly surprised to see how his reaction came across. I was excited to see him being able to hold his own with Speedball Mike Bailey, who I'm going to continue to raise the flag for and tell you all he is one of the best wrestlers on the planet right now. The only reason you're not familiar with him is because he's on Impact. To go off of what JD said, Impact has amazing talent that does succeed there. Deanna, Alexander, Moose, Swan, Impact has insane talent. They do. They're just not on a stage that people are ready to appreciate yet, unfortunately. But good match between the two. Speedball getting the win after his amazing finish. Guys, it's so scary. It's so contrived, but every time he hits it, I love it. The guy is a high-flying, kicky, flippy, hard-hitting talent. Go watch Speedball Mike Bailey. Go watch him. Oh, absolutely. We then get a backstage promo, or a backstage confrontation, where Rhino confronts the Design. The Design are not so happy with Callahan right now. We know him as Sammy Callahan. They're trying to reduce him to just Callahan. What's up?
No, I was going to say Sammy. I know Sammy Callahan.
There you go. We all know Sammy Callahan. But they just want to reduce him to Callahan. They weren't thrilled with how he behaved at the pay-per-view, where he accidentally hit Big Con with the chair. Diener and Alan Angels are ready to write him off. That's when Rhino comes in, angry, like a rampaging animal of some sort. I can't think of one. You get me. I couldn't think of that. Hippo makes total sense.
Fun fact, they are the deadliest animal to humans in Africa.
It's amazing how baby hippos are adorable, but adult hippos are jackasses.
They'll eat you. They
yes.
will. That is not a joke. They are the deadliest animal to humans in Africa.
I know I would not last long against the hippo.
No,
I'm not making a joke here. I am actually scared of hippos, but I want to pet a baby hippo so badly. We derailed, but I don't feel bad about it. This is an important topic.
We don't go on tangents.
We do not go on tangents here at the Mark It Down podcast, specifically the JIMPACT Zone. No tangents allowed, but hippos, different story.
And rhinos. Get back on track here.
Wait, we're talking about rhinos? That's crazy.
We're talking about Rhino.
Terry Guido. I love that his last name is Guido.
I didn't know Rhino's real name.
Yep, Guido.
That's great.
But anyway, Rhino has had issues with the design for years, back when they were still violent by design. They messed with his head, and he refuses to let the same happen to Sami Callihan, who butts in and tells Rhino to mind his own beeswax. He's exactly where he wants to be, and the design is the right group for him. Rhino says he's got to knock some sense into him, so that's going to lead to a match for next week. It seems that Diener and Alan Angels are a little more open to it when they saw Callihan coming to their aid and their defense. I'm excited. It's going to be a hard-fought match and a hard-hitting match. We'll see how it goes next week. Mark It Down, National Geographic night, please. God, we do not support animal fighting here at the Mark It Down podcast. We love love. We do not love animal fighting.
Yeah, definitely might. Although I will admittedly do a National Geographic night if you guys would like. Just let me know.
I do not. There is not enough beer in the world for me to do that, but we'll see.
I disagree, Mike.
We get to our next match between Kenny King and Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight is impressing a lot of people. If you're a New Japan fan, you'll know that name. You'll know he's got a bright future ahead of him. I don't know if it's happened already or if it's going to happen, but he has a match with Zack Sabre Jr. for the I cannot say that title for the life of me, but the New Japan Pro Wrestling World Television Championship. Every word needed to be said tonight, but that's how it goes. But yeah, this was a great match. Kenny King getting the win. Kenny King is in a weird spot right now. He feels like he's too above the X Division Championship or even the Digital Media Championship, but he doesn't feel quite right for a World Championship run yet. So he's kind of stuck in limbo. He has been ever since Honor No More disbanded. I want to see more for him. I actually think he would thrive if he somehow made his way back to Ring of Honor, but Impact is his home right now, and I hope he could find his footing despite having all these amazing matches. Y'all play Pokemon. You're I don't even know what's happening right now.
You said something about animal fighting, and I was like, those aren't animals, they're Pokemon. It's different. They want to battle. Like, it's in the lore.
Shame on JD. Shame on JD.
As Danny says every week, be nice to animals, people.
Especially Pokemon.
Yes.
We then move on to a highlight reel of what happened at Battle in the Valley, where we saw Josh Alexander take part in a tag team match against Kushida. I'll be honest, I didn't really notice who the partners were for that match, but despite Kushida's team getting the 1-2-3, Kushida left his armbar submission. His what is it? What's Brock's submission?
The Kimura.
The Kimura.
He calls it like a time lock or something.
He calls it the hoverboard, right? No. The hoverboard's his drop move. But anyway.
Not the hoverboard lock?
I don't know anymore, man. There's so much wrestling tonight. My brain is fried.
Fair. Also, I don't know that many Back to the Future references squeezed into one person. It's a lot.
I know. But he had a Kimura locked in the match way after the bell rang, sending a message for their eventual match at Multiverse United. If Josh Alexander is still champion by the time he gets to Multiverse United, he will be defending against Kushida. Josh Alexander talks about in a backstage interview all the challenges he has coming his way, from Kushida to Steve Macklin, who his ears must have been burning because he came out to confront Josh Alexander, who says, for someone who says I'm always ducking him, you always find a way to find me. Macklin begs Josh Alexander to hold on to the title because he wants to be the one to dethrone him, the longest reigning Impact champion of all time. I am very excited for this eventual matchup between the two, as Steve Macklin is the new #1 contender coming out of No Surrender. Are you excited for the match? Are you excited for... Which match are you more excited for? Josh Alexander versus Kushida or Josh Alexander versus Steve Macklin?
I know more about Kushida than I do Macklin.
Fair.
Every time I hear Macklin, I just think of the Eagles wide receiver. But
not Burt Macklin, huh?
No, I always just go Jeremy Macklin, who also ironically played for Kansas City as well. So I'm sure he had a fun time with this Super Bowl. But no, I really like Kushida, and I'm hyped for him. It's one of those things, though, where because he's a New Japan talent, I'm pretty sure he's going to lose. But I think that's a good matchup. It should be fun. And then we'll go on to the next match. So we get both, which is, or we should get both, which is, it's nice when you get the things you want.
Right? Good wrestling. That's all we want. We want good wrestling, and we're going to get it. But we then have a backstage medical update on Tommy Dreamer, who had hot coffee thrown in his face and his eyes by Bully Ray at No Surrender, because Bully Ray is kind of a dick, guys. He just is.
And this isn't like a Trent and Chuck or Dixon real life thing. Bully Ray is a dick. Period.
Everywhere. In wrestling, in life, just all over the place. Bully Ray, I'm sure he's not nice to animals.
Okay, I want to bring this up because Eric put this in. Eric, I'm here for that, but we also just kind of had Ring of Honor do that for the last year and a half, and it sucked.
See, no, but here's the difference, though. Ring of Honor didn't...
here for them being in a part of Forbidden Door.
Yes, I would be down for that too.
I'm here for, and it would be more of an all-in situation, because I think we should just have all-in again, and especially since Tony owns it now. But I think my point, I know it wasn't an invasion, Eric, but another show coming in to AEW, especially right now the way it is, I don't know. But if they built a whole promo going towards a Forbidden Door, or even if they have a joint pay-per-view, I'm totally here for that. That I think would be cool, because I think getting a guy like Speedball on AEW television would be dope, because I think it would expose him to a whole new audience who hasn't really seen him, and they can see everything that you have been talking about for, I think, the last year on the JIMPACT Zone.
No, I completely agree. I'm all for it. And I think that's the best way to do it. I do agree with Eric. I do think that there is a nice... there's a nice... enticing feel to Impact invading AEW, because, truth be told, Ring of Honor was a situation where, they were sort of just stuck in AEW because Tony didn't have a show for Ring of Honor. There was no animosity between the brands. Impact, you can make a compelling argument for being very upset with AEW and for wanting to highlight themselves because they never got highlighted by AEW when Kenny was their champion. So I'd be down for it, but at the end of the day, I would be happy just to see an all-out situation, or an all-in situation, or a Forbidden Door situation. But time will tell, and I agree. Speedball and Josh Alexander, if we're being honest, are two talents that deserve to be seen on a much, 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 much bigger stage.
Yeah, and also they can't really do the Ring of Honor people have a gripe against AEW people, because they kind of already did that with Honor No More and Impact. So you pretty much be cribbing off of their notes anyway. So
they also talked about, I know you didn't really get to see Ring of Honor tonight, but after Claudio's match where he defended against AR Fox, he was confronted.
It was amazing.
Fantastic match. But Claudio was confronted by Eddie Kingston.
Ooh. Here I am saying it's going to be Roosh, but Eddie, nice.
Yep, and Eddie said, "I get to be here because I have that AEW contract. I get that AEW money, so that means I'm allowed to be here." Even though he quit AEW last night, but whatever. And Yeah, man. I'm just very, very, very excited to see all these brands interacting. Even though I know there's some burnout, just a little burnout.
Yeah. Also, I got it for you. Kushida was with Volador Jr., Kevin Knight, and the DKC, and they beat Mosquera Dorada, Josh Alexander, Adrian Quest, and Rocky Romero.
There you go.
That was a lot of people.
That was a lot of people, and let me tell you, they weren't all in that clip. But, moving on. Well, going back, I guess, the Tommy Dreamer medical update. He's got the doctor tells Santino and Dirty Dango that Tommy Dreamer will be fine. He's just got some retinal damage. Dirty Dango doesn't understand what that means and assumes that Tommy Dreamer is actually just dead. He keeps talking about him as if he passed away, and let me tell you, it was hilarious. Dango and Santino being a team is like my low-key favorite thing that Impact is doing right now, and Impact is doing a lot right now. But those two, just they have it. Bully walks into frame, calls Santino Salmonella, and then asks the doctor if Tommy's going to be okay. He keeps ridiculing Tommy's weight, Tommy's cholesterol, basically everything Tommy should be a little concerned about, according to Bully. And when the joking gets to a point that Bhupinder Gujar comes in and confronts Bully about it. He ridicules Bhupinder's name. He tells when Bhupinder says that's not funny, he says it doesn't matter. No one's going to remember you in 10 years anyway. Bhupinder grabs him and holds him against the wall before being confronted by security. Bully then slaps the crap out of Bhupinder and then runs away, leaving Bhupinder furious. I think this is going to be a great feud for Bhupinder. It's going to be a nice come-down feud for Bully, coming off of a world title feud with Josh Alexander. I think Bhupinder is really going to benefit from being in the ring with a veteran like Bully, who is just a heat magnet. I know there's a joke about Bully being in such a high-profile state in 2023, but let me tell you, even at his age, this man is killing it on all fronts. In the ring, on the mic, backstage, everything about him, just he's knocking it out of the park.
Living up to the name of Bully.
Oh, absolutely.
Like we said before, he's a dick.
In real life and in wrestling.
Yep.
We then go back to the ring where Mickie James comes out to cut a promo after she successfully retained her Knockouts Championship against Masha Slamovich at the pay-per-view. She's ready to confront Jordynne Grace, who is still bitter about her title loss to Mickie. And as she's getting ready to set that up, she is interrupted by Giselle Shaw and her crew. Giselle says that Mickie first dodged Jordynne Grace by going after Masha Slamovich, and now she's ducking Giselle Shaw by going after Jordynne Grace. Mickie says she already beat her during the last rodeo, but she knows she can beat her again anytime. Gail Kim comes out and sets the match up, and we will get Mickie James versus Giselle Shaw. Giselle has been a welcome addition to the Knockouts division. She has a gravitas to her that is very unique, and I'm happy to see Mickie mixing it up. That was a tongue twister.
Yeah, that was
with a lot of the Knockouts division. Are you excited for this match? Do you think Giselle has any shot? What do you think?
I was going to say my first reaction was I didn't know Gail Kim was an authority figure in Impact, and that makes me happy.
Specifically for the Knockouts.
For the women? Yeah, that's hype. I did have a question. I assume Jordynne Grace isn't around because she's been going for that bodybuilding competition.
We're going to get into that. We'll get into that in a few segments.
Oh, okay. But that was my... I know she's been training for one. I've been seeing some of the pictures online. In terms of bodybuilding competitions, she looks great. But I didn't know if that was the reason why she wasn't there. I mean, in terms of, like, winning.
Yeah, sure. You
said it.
But this will set up the eventual match between the two. I'm excited for it. I think Giselle has been killing it for Impact. I think she's got a very fun group going on with her.
Would I know her from somewhere? The name doesn't ring a bell.
You've seen her in Impact before. That's what I'll tell you. You've seen her in Impact before, but she's relatively new to the scene.
To the Googles.
Yeah. We then get a backstage segment where Brian Myers is just hyping up his podcast. Who would do that? Who would do that?
There aren't any other wrestling podcasts. I don't understand what podcast.
That is true. That is true.
So it's not even a wrestling podcast. It's a toy
podcast.
one.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
As Myers is hyping up his podcast, Moose walks in, tells him they still have a Joe Hendry problem, and Brian Myers says, no, you have a Joe Hendry problem. I don't want anything to do with him. You convinced Matt Cardona to go after him, and guess what? Now he's gone. I don't know what that means. I don't know what happened to Cardona, but he is gone apparently. But Moose said, I want to help you, Brian Myers, get the Digital Media Championship back. All I want to do is humiliate Joe Hendry. This feud with Joe Hendry and Moose has been excellent. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how it evolves further. Brian Myers getting the Digital Media Championship back might not be the worst thing in the world, but Joe Hendry is killing it as champion and killing it for Impact. He is the legit most funny thing in wrestling right now. I don't know if you've... What?
I was at the bit with Moose the other week where Moose went out to take out his car and it ended up being Santino's car. It was pretty fucking funny.
Did you see the Edge's bitch video yet?
I do know. I don't think I did.
I got to show it to you. But he created a fun music video making fun of Matt Cardona, and it's called Edge's Bitch.
I think I heard about it and I ended up seeing it, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta find it," and I forgot.
We'll figure it out. But yeah, after that we get.
Hey, look, it's Jordan Grace.
Yeah, there you go. Jordan Grace is backstage. She confronts Santino, and she's upset. How is it that she is once again getting skipped over for her rematch for the Knockouts title? Santino understands, and he sets the match for Sacrifice, making Jordan very happy. We then get a Zicky Dice backstage thing. I don't care. He's not going to get the 50 wins, and you know what? I think he realizes he's not getting the 50 wins either. So it's pretty funny, but I just don't care. It's a fun story with just a guy that I don't care about. But we then move on to PCO taking on Trey Miguel. Trey Miguel, who survived a Monsters Ball match last week against Crazy Steve, and PCO, who got screwed out of the #1 contender spot for the world title thanks to Eddie Edwards. The match itself was fine for what it was. It didn't get to last as long as it should have because once again, Eddie Edwards comes out and screws over PCO, this time running from the back with a shovel and hitting PCO in the head with that shovel. Yes, he hit him in the head with a shovel. PCO and Eddie brawl for a bit before PCO gets the upper hand and choke slams Eddie Edwards. Security comes out before PCO is able to push them off. He goes, Eddie Edwards, who is now on the outside, PCO goes to the top rope and hits a diving moonsault to the outside. Security takes all the brunt of that hit, and Eddie is able to run away. This feud has been bubbling for a long time. I'm very excited to see both PCO and Eddie finally come to blows and finally move on from one another. But what do you think of that? Are you excited for some resolution to Honor No More? Did you want to see PCO in the world title scene instead? What do you think?
I was on the show. It had to be at least 6 months ago. Honor No More was still a thing, and PCO was trying to get a piece of Eddie Edwards.
Yep, we're still here.
It was forever ago, and we're still doing this. Yes, I want PCO to murder this man. And, at this point, just kill him so this feud can end. I'm not saying it's bad, but it definitely needs a resolution.
No, I agree.
If I'm here, somebody who watches Impact like once a quarter, and this feud is still going on, like I'm not saying it's bad. I don't have any opinion on whether or not it is because I don't know, but it seems like it's gone on for a long enough time where it kind of needs to end. And hey, look, Producer Boy just hijacked the show for a meme.
Thank you, Producer Boy. You're always loved here. But no, it has been going on for a long time. Admittedly, PCO did take some time off to sell an injury.
Yeah.
So it did buy the. Oh God, he's got to be like 50.
I was gonna say, like I don't want to say he looks it, but because I feel like it's part of his character where he just looks like a zombie that never dies.
Yep.
But yeah, I was gonna say he's older. So.
Guess right now. Give final guess. How old do you think PCO is?
54.
55.
Oh, all right. I win Price is Right, though. That's a good Price is Right, guys. That's a good Price is Right.
Fair
guys.
point. But PCO's still going, man. Hitting moonsaults to the outside.
Insane spots.
Yep.
Like, we give Jericho a lot of credit for doing all those things at his age. This guy's doing all that shit and more. Like,
Oh, let's see what producer boy has for us. Oh my god!
Like, for a 54-year-old man, that's
55.
55, excuse me, year old man. Like, I did that. I'm getting hip surgery tomorrow.
Yep.
I've taken some brutal bumps in the last couple of years, but
God bless him. But we'll see if we're finally going to get resolution to that. It's been building for a long time. Just glad that it's finally coming to a head. But now it's time for our main event.
That's not till Friday.
That's fair. We have Bullet Club, represented by Ace Austin and Chris Bay, taking on the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. This was a back-and-forth tag team excellence showcase. Excellent match between the two. Both teams looked strong. Both teams highlighted why they are good teams. The Motor City Machine Guns showing their experience. Bullet Club showing their youth, their velocity, their speed advantage. This was an excellent showing for both teams. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't expect the outcome. We have new Impact World Tag Team Champions in Bullet Club.
Whoa.
Yep. It was pretty impressive, and more than anything, they did it clean. That's what I'm talking, man. Are these guys baby faces in Bullet Club? Doesn't make sense to me, but either way, great showing between these teams. I was super impressed with Bay and Ace Austin's their chemistry. Motor City Machine Guns talked about it. It feels like they've only been teaming up for a cup of coffee, yet these two guys work like a well-oiled machine, making Motor City Machine Guns really work for it. Very impressed with this matchup. I'm hoping for a rematch relatively soon, but I am very excited for the tag team division and Impact being represented by Bullet Club right now. Were you surprised by the outcome? Were you surprised by the new champions? I don't feel too bad for the Motor City Machine Guns because they still have tag titles thanks to New Japan strong, but very weird to not see them be the tag team champions in Impact.
Also very weird to see Bullet Club win Impact titles and the New Japan ones.
Yeah.
Look, anytime Bullet Club wins gold, I'm hyped. I love Bullet Club. They're one of my favorite factions of all time. So I'm excited. Like I said earlier, I think Chris Bay is a star. I love that kid. He's got that like swag and gravitas about him that you need to have when you're in Bullet Club. Do you think that I don't think Motor City Machine Guns are leaving anytime soon, right?
I doubt it. I don't think Shelley, who works as an EMT, is ready for that.
Type of schedule.
Tougher schedule for that AEW would offer right now. But who knows? Maybe they want to have a shot on the big TV for a while. But I think the fact that they're still the New Japan strong tag team champs is an indicator that I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon. But who knows? AEW has a good relationship with New Japan too, so maybe they can make that transition. But I don't see it happening.
Do you know their contract situation? Is it up?
As far as I know, they're still under contract at least till the end of the year. You don't usually see their contracts run up in the middle of or near the beginning of the year like this. They usually tend to end them around the end of the calendar year. But who knows? I don't know if Shelley had time tacked on from when he was gone for a while. I don't know if that impacted Sabin. Impact contracts are amazing to see unfold. Those situations are. I think I could get an Impact contract at this point. And
John Cena guy, yeah, you can sign anywhere.
Wore the shirt for a reason.
Hottest free agent in wrestling, people. We got him.
Oh,
right here on the Market Down podcast.
Oh, yeah. But I could be like 2-contract Cutler. I could appear in multiple spots.
Well, I mean, plenty of AEW guys have podcasts. Those seem to be going okay, right, guys?
As long as it. Did you see last night on? All right, I can't get into it, but yeah. So that was our main event. That was Impact, guys. I was I was a little disappointed with how little in-ring action there was, or the number of matches we got. But I will say the 4 matches we did get a healthy amount of time each. Main event got a solid 20 minutes. And the opening bout got a good amount of time, too, between Speedball and Shane Haste.
And they were just coming off a pay-per-view, so, you kind of have to set the table again for what's going to come up. And, so I understand there being a few more promos.
And we got a title change in the main event. Always fun to see a title change hands on free TV or on YouTube, depending on how you watch. But, guys, this was the JIMPACT Zone. This was the second review of wrestling tonight for us here at the Mark It Down podcast. Go check out our Ring of Honor live review as I covered the new era of Ring of Honor on its first night under the new regime. Wrestling is thriving right now. Mark It Down podcast is here to talk about it. See you next Thursday here on the JIMPACT Zone.
All right, well.
Thank you, Nick.